What do you get when you cross a television host, a cutting-edge clothing line, an up-and-coming runway model, and a fashion show spectacular? One crazy me. Hello, designers.
Hello.
I'm Julia Grieve, owner of Preloved.
She's a pioneer in reconstructing vintage. Like, she's one of the first people to do it.
At Preloved, we like to blend the old with the new. We take vintage pieces and reconstruct them to create clothing that is truly one of a kind. You've got 2 minutes to gather your materials. Let's go.
Preloved designers Julia Grieve and Peter Friesen are eco-clothing pioneers making modern-day pieces out of vintage fabrics.
The designers who unveiled their fall 2010 collection at Toronto's LG Fashion Week reclaim up to 100,000 vintage sweaters every season.
So when you take a look at numbers that large, it's impossible to ignore what Preloved is doing for the planet.
But make no mistake, Julia and Peter are designers first and foremost.
We're not just sort of taking a used skirt and changing the zipper on it. We're literally taking 7 raincoats, completely deconstructing it, and making it into a dress that you could wear on a red carpet.
And celebrities are taking notice.
Kristen Dunst.
Yeah.
She just bought a new dress. Kate Hudson, Hilary Duff.
Helena Christensen.
Oh yeah, Helena Christensen's a big fan.
But Peter and Julia have definitely had obstacles to overcome, from a tragic fire at their flagship Toronto store in 2008 to simply being misunderstood by their early customers.
You'd have to explain the whole spiel about why we're doing this.
Yeah, like people would say, is this used?
Yeah.
Is it clean?
15 years later, Julia and Peter don't have to explain anything anymore, except to maybe one another. Julia is the business thinker, while Peter, as you probably noticed, is the quiet, creative type.
It works most of the time.
Watch it, dude.
Preloved founder Julia Grieve has 4 simple steps to help you on your way to successful vintage shopping.
Tip number 1, time. Very important that you have allotted enough time to go vintage shopping. There is nothing worse than running through a vintage store, looking at your watch, gotta get out of here, gotta move. A vintage clothing store will not be set up like a regular clothing store. You're not gonna have all your skirts with the matching tops that go right over it. It's not set up like that. It's usually color blocked. It takes time to sift through the merchandise, and you need to make sure you've got it. Tip number 2, do not be too specific. It's very difficult to walk into a vintage clothing store and say, I need this perfect black dress, it's gotta be a halter, it's gotta hit at my knee, it's gotta have a ruffle. They may not have that. You gotta keep your eyes open and your mind open. Tip number 3, be creative. Things can be altered. They can be lengthened, shortened. Buttons can be added, they can also be removed. This is a perfect example right here. These big clasps right here, ooh, not so nice. Take them off. They're actually only attached by hand.